dangerous groups that we're dealing with now.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. It's time.
Hey, yo, what up? What is going on, everybody? I'm now live here on the Around the Point Network YouTube channel. We're also live over on Twitch and Kick. It is Thursday. You know what that means. It's now time for another live edition of Something About Dynamite. And what do you know? The darn Don Callis family. That darn Don Callis family collect another in this case they collect more championships. They did. We'll get into that also and so much other stuff. But again, if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button down below. Give this video a big old thumbs up. Share with all your friends all over social media. It is Thursday, March the 5th, 2026. As always, I am Steve. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for taking the time out of your day, or if you're watching on the playback, to listen to me talk about AEW Dynamite. I know. Now, look. I know. Yo sé, ya lo sé, that I haven't done something about Dynamite for the last 2 weeks. And look, I had a lot going on, and here I am. There's a part of me today that almost did not do this. There's a part of me today that almost did not go live. But I'm like, you know what? Nah. Here we are. We got to go live. We got to do this. No more messing around. Here we are. And I know there's a lot of you right now who are playing your 2K26, and that's cool. I hope you're having a fun time with that. But yeah, to give you guys my thoughts on AEW Dynamite, I'll be honest, for the last 2 weeks, Dynamite has been a very good show for the most part. And I thought this week, I'm not saying it was bad or anything. It just felt, compared to the last 2 episodes, this kind of felt like a downward for me. And that's just me, of course. I don't know how y'all may feel about it, but for me, it kind of felt like a little down for the most part. Not a bad show, per se. It was just there, to be honest. But let me know your thoughts in the live chat, or if not, let me know your thoughts in the comments if you're watching this on the playback. But also, if you've not checked out the other content that was put on the channel, like on Monday on Steve's Kitchen, where I gave you guys my thoughts on everything that went down on Elimination Chamber 2026 as we continue the bumpy road to WrestleMania. Also on Tuesday on the Raw Rundown, I gave you guys my thoughts on Monday Night Raw and that back and forth promo between CM Punk and Roman Reigns, and that line by CM Punk that he told Roman Reigns. If you're not checked that out, go give that a watch. Also, I also dropped the first cooking video of 2026. I know it took a couple months, but here we are. I dropped the first episode of Cooking with Steve. I did a arroz chaufa featuring chicken McNuggets from McDonald's. So if you've not checked that out, go give that a watch. I'll be dropping the second video next week coming up. All right. It's already been filmed, already set up. I just got to edit it up and it'll be ready to go. That's going to be up next week. Be ready to look at it by Wednesday. So most likely on Wednesday when we're not live or anything, that's when I'll drop the video for you guys to watch and all that fun stuff as well. And that will cover the month of March, and I'll be back with another cooking videos in April. All right. So that's how we're doing it. But thank you, Brandon Brown. I appreciate that. Nice cooking video. I appreciate that. Hope you enjoyed it. And look, also, hopefully you guys, when you watch these cooking videos, I hope that it inspires you to do something in the kitchen. I know it's a guy thing. I get it. A lot of us men, the norm is, I'm not gonna cook. I ain't gonna get my hands dirty in the kitchen. Oh hell no! But I got a woman for that, or I got this, or I'll just do the takeout, or I got the monthly subscriptions. I got Factor or Eat Clean Bro or whatever the case may be. That's cool. You know what I mean? But I do think from time to time, there's nothing wrong with getting, down in the kitchen. All right. So if you have not checked out the cooking videos, go give those a watch. Okay. Episode 2 drops this Wednesday on the day that I don't go live on this channel. But anyway, let's get into AEW Dynamite. Dynamite was live last night from El Paso, Texas at the Don Haskins Center. Like I mentioned before, I thought the show, for the most part, it was all right. Nothing to really sink your teeth in compared to the last 2 episodes where, they've been very, very good. This one I felt like was just kind of a little bit. But again, that's just one man's opinion. But we did have development as we go into Revolution. We had a show that had originally 2 title matches that became 3. We crowned a new champions, and we'll get into all that. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, your thoughts on Dynamite and all that fun stuff. Let me know in the chat if you enjoy the show or not, or if maybe you feel like me. Let me know. If you have the same thoughts as I do, let me know in the chat. Let me know in the playback, whatever it may be. So the show was in El Paso. So you probably going into the show, you're wondering, gee, how many of these wrestlers are going to pay homage to Eddie Guerrero? How many people are going to do 3 Amigos? How many people will do a frog splash? Right? You wonder that going in more than likely, right? Surprisingly, not that many, which was a shock to me. But the show opened up with the world champion MJF defending the Triple B against Kevin Knight of Jet Set Rodeo. Now, here's my thing. I am not a fan of the world champion, especially when it's a world title match opening the show. I know AEW is not the first time. It's not the first time a promotion does this. WWE has done it plenty of times back in the day, and I'm not a fan of that either. So for all you sickles out there that say, oh, you're saying because it's AEW, nah, I'm just pointing that out. I'm not down with the world champion opening the show in a match or the world title match opening the show. It's not for me. Okay. That being said, I still don't know what Kevin Knight did to earn this title match. Like, don't get me wrong, he's a good talent. I'm not taking that away from him, okay? Dude has done some amazing stuff, right? But still, I'm wondering, what has he done to earn himself a world title match? Outside of the fact that, oh, hey, MJF is facing off at the pay-per-view against one of his teammates in Jet Set Rodeo and Hangman Adam Page. So let's just get some heat on MJF, right? And here's the thing, too. For me, the match went long for no reason. The match went about almost 17 minutes. Where, look, there's moments where Kevin Knight had moments to shine. Okay? But for me, the one thing is this match should not have been that long. Should have not been. There's a moment where Kevin Knight does like the UFO splash. I think that's his version of the frog splash. And MJF, as a heel as he is, kicks the referee in the shin, and the referee falls over. Like he hits the move, and all, right? And He has MJF for the 3 count, ready to win. The referee just did not make the count in time. It's funny because he's rolling around. The referee's rolling around, and he sees the fall in front of him, but doesn't count. He continues to roll around and then gets the near fall. Eventually, MJF does retain the championship with the Heat Seeker for the 1-2-3. Again, I don't know what Kevin Knight did to earn this title match. Someone please let me know, right? That being said, look, you would think, hey, man, there's no shame in losing to the champion. To the world champ, there's no shame in losing. I will say that right now, okay? But with that being said, after this, right, after this, we did have, I believe it was Mike Bailey coming out, trying to make the save. And, I know he has a title match coming up next week, which we'll get into as well. Hangman try to show up as well. But yeah, MJF retained, which I'll be honest, again, if you really seriously, if you really thought that Kevin Knight, Kevin the Jet Knight, right? The Jet Kevin Knight, whatever he called himself, right? If you literally thought Kevin Knight was going to win the world title, if you really thought he was going to win the world title,
congratulations.
You've been worked. Yeah, you've been worked. Completely been worked. But again, it's not the last time we were going to see Kevin Knight. Not the last time we'd see him. From there, we saw Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy going up against the dogs of Gabe Kidd and Clark Connors. And it's crazy because Gabe Kidd goes out to the ring and he does this goofy thing on his entrance where he crawls and I get it, they're called the dogs, right? They used to be called the War Dogs, but I guess they can't call themselves the War Dogs now because for whatever reason, I don't know, but they're called the dogs. And he's crawling like a dog. It looks so fucking goofy. It's like he's doing, if you ever watched Dragon Ball Z, I don't know how many of you in this chat or in the playback watching this, how many of you watched Dragon Ball Z? I need to know how many of you in your lifetime ever watched Dragon Ball Z. If you remember the Ginyu Force, each member would do a little signature dance, right? As they introduced himself. That's what I felt like he was doing. I felt like Gabe Kidd was doing some Ginyu Force choreography here. It is crazy because I'll be honest. I know people may not like this, but the reality is Gabe Kidd went out there to no pop. Literally went out there. The crowd just did not give a fuck.
Exactly. No pop.
It's crazy because, bro, here's a guy, right, who had the match of the year a year ago with Kenny Omega. You would think, okay, he's off to the races, right? In New Japan. They're going to, let him be a strong force in New Japan Pro Wrestling. They didn't do much with him, right? He's in AEW, and it's just and it feels like him and Clark Connors, for that matter, they're just the 2 guys on the roster. That's what it feels like. And before the match even began, right? Before the match even began, there was a brawl on the outside. Just a massive brawl on the outside. Somewhere in this, Orange Cassidy gets tossed and he goes through the table by the timekeepers area and shit. Right? And then we get to the match itself. We get to the match, right? And look, it was a very, very, very solid. Nothing to really go crazy about here. Nothing to go crazy about here. This is solid stuff here for the most part. But when it was all said and done, Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy, who were beat up on, they got the win. And then out of nowhere, right? Out of nowhere, we happen to see David Finlay. David Finlay, who has been in one of the big focal points in the wrestling news the last couple of days on where he was going to go. There have been reports that he was offered deals from WWE, TNA, and I think yesterday, funny enough, Mike Johnson, a PW insider, posts an article that AEW also has interest in David Finlay. And what do you know? He shows up. Now, the reports are out there that WWE offered him a developmental deal. And obviously AEW, Tony Khan, was the one who threw more money. He was the one who threw the bag at him, basically. And at the end of the day, everyone knows in pro wrestling, it's all about
payday. You want payday?
Exactly. So I'm not mad at him for that. Go get your bag, bro. Go get your bag at the end of the day, right? It also is factor in, David Finlay. And again, I'll say this right now. It looked like a lot of people just did not care. No pop, no reaction. You would think, hey, this is the sicko audience. These people watch New Japan, right? So they would know who David Finlay is, right? The War Dogs, whatever you want to call them, right? And yeah, they attacked Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy after the match, right? David Finlay hits, I believe, Orange Cassidy with the shillelagh, right? So he brought the shillelagh with him as well. And the War Dogs are back together, but now they're known as the Dogs. And yes, Tony Khan, moments later, posted the graphic. The Dogs are all elite. All three members of them, Gabe Kidd, Clark Connor, which you already knew. And now here he is, David Finlay. I think also has factored this in as well. His friends are in AEW. When I mean his friends, I mean Gabe Kidd and Clark Connors. And you know what? You know what will be cool to see down the road? Down the road, we see Jay White, because I know he's injured. He's hopefully on the road to recovery, and we'll see him on TV soon. Maybe we do end up seeing the Bang Bang Gang, right, against the War Dogs, or the Dogs now. I'm just calling them the War Dogs because I just think it's corny as shit to call them as the Dogs, okay? Maybe we see that down the road. Then we're talking. There's history there. So hopefully AEW does right by this down the road, but we'll see. After this, we did see Renee Paquette interviewing Bandito and Andrade. And Andrade said, and keep in mind, Bandito was like, this is a big match. He thinks Andrade is one of the best luchadors in the world, what have you. And then Bandito said he didn't know whether Bandito wanted an autograph or a selfie as a fan, right? But he said he would see him at Revolution, which, by the way, the match is happening, obviously. Like, I'll be honest, the segment itself, it really did nothing for me. Like, it's funny enough. Like, I checked the temperature, like the weather in El Paso yesterday. It was like 71 degrees. Why is Andrade dressed up like he's going out for a walk in Times Square in November? Why? I don't understand, but whatever. It is what it is. Look, the little interview, it was there. Nothing to really sink your teeth in, right? Like, look, two guys with broken English. What do you expect, right? When the bell rings, I expect the banger at Revolution in Los Angeles. It's going to be Mexican on Mexican crime in LA, a Mexican community. So that's going to be good. That should be fun. All right, when it's all said and done. After this, we did get the Brawling Birds of Jamie Hayter and Alex Windsor. The Brawling Birds. And they went up against the debuting of the Inspiration, the former Iconics of Jesse McKay and Cassie Lee. Now, I remember a lot of people were having mixed feelings about the Inspiration being an AEW. The slogan, right? Where the best wrestle. That's their slogan. And, in a division right now that's still new, which is the AEW Women's Tag Team Division, you need some teams, right? You need some teams to be in that division. And again, the Inspiration, say what you want about them. Look, they're not Mildred Burke. They're not Molly Holly. By no means at all, okay? They're not 2015 Sasha Banks, okay? But at the end of the day, even though the inspiration were in the same, we're at NXT at the time with Sasha Banks back in the day. But the point is, though, the point is, these women, that being the inspiration, are former tag team champions in WWE, in TNA, right? Knockouts tag team champions and all that stuff. And look, you went into this, you're wondering, okay, will we get a back and forth match? Will it be something, worthy, right? And it's the funniest thing ever, right? So the inspiration comes out, right? They come out and they're dancing. They're in the ring and they request the person who's like controlling the music to run it back, like they're Jey Uso on Monday Night Raw eating. And the brawling birds were not having it. They were not having. The match literally ends, I kid you not, in almost 99 seconds. A quick squash match. And some people are angry about this. I understand. Because, again, you're talking about, and say what you want about them, right? I know, again, a lot of people still don't know why they're signed to AEW. Why did they sign the inspiration? They don't fit the motto of AEW. But like I mentioned earlier, when you're trying to establish this women's tag team division that's still new, right? They crowned the first women's tag team champions in November, right? You need some tag teams, right? And say what you want about them. They're a legit tag team. They've been doing the damn thing for a couple of years now, have won tag titles in WWE, tag titles in TNA, right? Honestly, I would put the tag titles on them in AEW just to piss off the internet. I'm all for it. I am all for it. That being said, I think at the end of the day, they went in there and did what I think people did not expect, right? And it's fine. That is totally fine. Again, there's some people who are not happy with it. Oh, why did this new team beat, and I get all that, but at the end of the day, it's what you expect from the inspiration. Again, you're not going to get, you're not going to get the Heart Foundation from these two women. You're not getting that. So this is fine for what it was, but I just didn't care. From there, we go to Hangman Adam Page. Hangman Page. Were you happy with it? I was fine. Like, people were angry. Oh, why the inspiration getting beat? Why are they getting this? Why this? And at the end of the day, like I said before, the women's tag team division is less than a year old. It's una bebita. It's a baby right now. I don't know, Palu, how long if you just tuned in or not, but the women's tag team division is a baby right now. Less than a year old, right? That being the tag title and all that stuff, right? You need tag teams. And hey, they just so happen to be a tag team that's been around for so long, right? And they knew, and they played their role. They played the role. I know there's some people who are not happy with it, and that's fine too. But it is what it is. Let's move on. We had Hangman Adam Page, who also, again, at the pay-per-view, will be getting a shot at the AEW World Championship in a Texas death match, right? In a Texas death match. Just like MJF had a match tonight on the show with Kevin Knight for the world title, here is Hangman Adam Page. And again, MJF and Kevin the Jet Knight had a match that almost went 17 minutes. So you're wondering, okay, Hangman Adam Page, the challenger for the world championship, right? He's going to have a barn burner of a match, right? A clinic or something like that, right? To be at that same level with the champion. Nah. Instead, he wrestled none other than El Paso, Texas' own Marty. You thought Marty Snow. You thought there for a second, did ya? You thought it was going to be that other Marty. No. Take it easy, my friend. Pump the brakes. Tranquilo. Oh, my goodness. Can you imagine had it been Mr. Can you imagine? Oh my goodness. Literally the entire fan base had that happen. You would have been.
Thank you. Fuck you. Bye.
That's what it would have been. Had it been that guy. Had it been that guy. You know what I mean? Thank you, Chris Leclerc, for the fact here. Adam Page is 4-1 in a Texas death match in his career. Thank you for knowing that stat, bro. Thank you. I appreciate that, brother. Hope all is well with you, man. But yeah, man, Hangman Page beat Marty Snow. And literally, I shit you not, 10 seconds. Guy in the ring, hit the boot, hit the buckshot lariat. 1, 2, 3. It's Jover. He calls out the champ to come on out, right? But instead, MJF comes out, but also you see from behind Kazuchika Okada, right? In the Aussie Open, they attack the Hangman, right? And then Don Callis comes out and he said, hey, if you heard correctly, last week on Collision, they said, that being Jet Set, Jet Set Rody, they said, don't defend against anybody. So he wants to make sure if they're men of their word. So we found out that the main event was going to be the Don Callis family of Mark Davis and what do they call themselves? Proto-Okada, that being Okada and freaking hell. Oh my goodness. Oh my God, I'm having a fucking brain fart right now. Kyle Fletcher, right? Against Jet Set Rodeo for the trios titles. You kind of knew when they announced the match where this was going to go, right? Also, this is just me. Like, you had a squash match with the women. Why did we need to have a squash match right after we just had a previous squash match? Why? I have no clue. Especially when it's the challenger who's challenging for the world championship at the pay-per-view. Why? I just don't get it. I just don't. Honestly, if it was up to me, I would have had the champion non-title match. It is what it is. Non-title. Have a squash match against some random bum. And the challenger having to struggle, right? Having to fight to get the win in a almost 17-minute match. That's just one man's opinion, of course. Let me know your thoughts in the chat or let me know in the comments in the playback. Okay, let me know. From there, we did see FTR and the Young Buck. They had a sit-down interview with Renee Paquette, right? And keep in mind, the Young Bucks are still upset. They're pissed off, to be honest, with FTR. After what they did to the Young Bucks family, I guess one of the brothers got pile drove and he put their hands on the members of the family. So the Young Bucks are pissed. And as you would expect, imagine if someone puts their hands on your loved one, right? There's no honor in that, but there's heat, right? And they have also, to my understanding, a no physical contact clause, I guess, in their contract, right? They can't touch each other until the pay-per-view. So all this is going down, right? Oh, we're going to beat you in our hometown, right? In front of our friends and family. And FTR just leave. But before they leave, they strike Brandon Cutler. And I'll be honest, I forgot the dude was on the payroll. Damn. Incredible. What does he even do? Does he still have a wrestling contract? Or is it just like, hey, I just do the edits for being the elite? I don't fucking know. Anyway, from there we got, by the way, look, is anyone asking for FTR versus the Young Bucks? No, but I already know they're going to deliver at the pay-per-view. They're going to deliver. No doubt about it. From there we got Brody King. He came out to call out Swerve Strickland, right? And look, you would have thought, hey, they're in El Paso, Texas. You would have thought, hey, we're going to hear that chant, right? You would have heard that chant, right? For Brody King in El Paso, Texas. Nope. No one chanted. And I'll be honest, right? I am all for the movement. I am all for, F ICE, fuck ICE. I'm all for it. But I do think when you repeat the same chant over and over, it starts getting stale. So the fact that no one chanted it, I'm cool with it. Still, F them, but you get the idea, okay? Brody King came out and he called out Swerve Strickland, right? Saying he's going to show him why he is the most dangerous man in AEW. And Prince Nana interrupted, saying that he needs to be careful what he wishes for here, right? But he calls out Swerve, right? That being Brody King. And Brody King is looking at the aisleway. He's looking at the entrance ramp or the stage, because it's not even a fucking ramp anymore. It's a little ass stage, all right? So he's waiting for Swerve to come out. And he's waiting and waiting, but he doesn't show up. Instead, Swerve attacks Brody King from behind. He attacks him from behind, right? He attacks him from behind, grabs a chain. He beats him with the chain, wraps his neck around the chain, and he hangs him, right? And Swerve, again, grabbed the chain and all this, and then he accepted the challenge. So in case you don't know, yes, at Revolution, you are going to get Swerve Strickland versus Brody King, all because Kenny Omega referred to Brody King as the most dangerous man in AEW, but yet they're just having a regular singles match. Why? I know there's still time. For all we know, we might get a chain match. By the time we get to next week, they'll announce it's going to be a chain match. Look, this match needs a stipulation. If the premise of this build is because Kenny Omega referred to Brody King as the most dangerous man. On a side note, I must say, these graphics look fucking amazing. These graphics for AEW Revolution, beautiful. Beautiful. I just wanted to say that. Okay. And from there, we did have somewhere in this show as well, we had what's it called? The Death Riders backstage talking about the Don Callis family. You had Wheeler Yuta show off his new hairstyle. Doesn't look bad at all, right? Doesn't look bad at all, right? And obviously John Moxley, who defeated Hechicero. By the way, yeah, John Moxley's going through every member of the Don Callis family, it feels like, at this point, just to get to Konosuke Takeshita at Revolution, right? So there was that. I mean, look, he's going to go through everyone, right? But again, we heard from the Death Riders, right? Even we heard from Marina Shafir, right? Referring to, I guess, Timeless Tony Storm, right? So from there, we got the AEW Women's World Championship match. We had Tekla defending her championship against Thunder Rosa. I believe she lives in Texas, so it's like her home state, right? Her home residency, right? So she got an ovation for the most part. And, again, we have not seen Thunder Rosa on Dynamite, and it feels like forever. I mean, unless you watch Collision, right? You might see her on Collision, but everyone knows, Hashtag AEW Collision. Saturday. Ain't nobody watching that. Come on. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. But the match itself, look, it wasn't nothing to go crazy about, right? Like, it was Tekla's first women's title defense. And as you expect, Tekla retained her championship. She hit multiple spears. Some of her spears looked a little sloppy, I must say, but she got the win, as you expect, because she is the one going into the pay-per-view, mind you, against Chris Statlander in a 2 out of 3 falls match. So we found out. Does it need the stipulation? Honestly, no. I don't think it needs to be a 2 out of 3 falls match. You can have a regular one-on-one match. I don't think this rivalry is that much heated for it to be a 2 out of 3 falls match, in my opinion, right? But after this, after this, Chris Statlander came out dressed in all black to confront the Sisters of Sin, and this allowed Tekla to hit the stomp after on Thunder Rosa. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm looking at Chris Statlander. She just looks so out of it. She looks just deflated. I feel like she's a woman right now just going through the motions. And I hope things get better for her. She's talented, right? But I just feel like right now she just lacks direction. That's what it is. Just lacks direction. And I hope that AEW does good by her. They correct this for real. So then we get the main event. The Don Callis family of Kazuchika Okada, who is the international champion, right? Again, teaming up with Aussie Open, right? Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher. Oh, by the way, I'd be remiss if I don't mention this. We heard from Tommaso Ciampa on the show. Talks about how Kyle Fletcher is doing all these tag team matches and trios matches, right? Just to avoid him, right? And Ciampa, all he wants is Sylvie back. He hates the fact that Sylvie is now Pinky, right? Has a new makeover, but he wants to prove to everyone that being Tommaso Ciampa is the top guy, even if he has to go to war again with Mark Briscoe. And the fact that he said top guy led to FTR to make their way out to confront Tommaso Ciampa, right? And as you expect, I think it was Dax Harwood who basically said, hey, we should team up. We should join forces here, right? We should join forces, take over this company. And I'll be honest, when I saw this, it just brought me back to memories of like 2016 when it was, FTR, the Revival versus DIY and Takeover Toronto and all that stuff. So it brought back memories, right? Makes you wonder, when is Johnny Gargano's contract, when is that shit expiring, right? Because once his deal expires, he's going to want to go to AEW, right? He's going to want to go to AEW, right? To remind everyone who he is, right? And Tony Khan is not going to help himself but to book FTR versus Gargano and Ciampa. He just cannot wait. And he'll give it away for free on Dynamite. Give it away for free on Dynamite. Because why not? And likely it'll open the show. It will likely open the show. And that happened, and there was a little, in between. But also, you find out that this Saturday on Collision, it will be Dax Harwood versus Tommaso Ciampa. So we'll see where that goes. We get the main event. We get the Don Callis family of Kazuchika Okada, who is the international champion, and the reunion of Aussie Open, of Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher. By the way, Kyle Fletcher, who is the TNT champion, Pinky, right? And Okada, who is, the international champion, against Jet Set Rodeo, right? And obviously, we saw once again Kevin Knight out there. He opened the show and he's closing the show here. And the match itself, like, you kind of knew where this was going, and it wasn't a bad match at all. It was not, but you kind of knew when this match was announced, okay, this is where they're going to go. And MJF made his way out there and caused a distraction, which led to Mark Davis. It was led to Kevin Knight getting pinned. So Kevin Knight, this is my only issue too. But then again, you find out what they're doing next week. So it kind of sadly makes sense why he took the fall. Like, he took the fall in the World Championship match in the opening of the show. And now here he is taking the fall in the main event, in the impromptu main event they announced. Right? So as a result, when you see the thumbnail for the show today, right? You see in the thumbnail, right? You see it, right? Kyle Fletcher holding the TNT championship, and he's also holding one of the trios titles. Okada, who is the international champion, and he's holding the fucking trio title. And also Mark David now is holding a title. It is not the only ones. Like, yo, you go through that roster, right? Willow Nightingale is one half of the women's tag team champions, and she's also the holder of the TBS title, right? I wish they stopped doing that. I wish, like, to be fair, there's a shitload of titles in AEW. And also, to be fair, there's also a shitload of belts in WWE. Okay? So I don't want people to think, oh, you're just picking on. No. It's a whole wrestling issue. All these companies with all these shitloads of titles that make no fucking sense at all. I wish we start consolidating these belts. But hey, one man's opinion. But yes, the Don Callis family, they now hold possession of the trios titles. And backstage, they showed a video, right? They're all celebrating backstage, right? And Okada's like, oh, all of us hold titles except Kanosuke, right? Just to poke fun at him and shit. But yeah, I mean, overall, you knew what was going to happen. But also next week, speaking of MJF, next week, MJF and Hangman Adam Page are going to have a press conference. A press conference. Oh, boy. I wonder who from the wrestling media will be there to attend this press conference. I wonder who's going to be there in San Jose, California. It makes you wonder, right? Oh, boy. That's going to be a beauty. And I did mention earlier, hey, Speedball Mike Bailey is going to have a championship match next week. And he will. Against Kyle Fletcher for the TNT championship. And look, they had a banger. One of the match of the year's contenders, right? It was literally, it should be on your list for match of the year of 2025 when they had that match during the Continental Classic where Speedball Mike Bailey got a win over Kyle Fletcher, right? So they're going to run this match. Should be a fun one as well. I hope it's at the same caliber of their first match. I hope it is, right? For those of you that watch Collision, it's going to be Dax Harwood versus Tommaso Ciampa. Also on the show, you're going to get, my bad. No, you're not. I take that back. You're not getting Dax Harwood versus Tommaso Ciampa. Instead, you're getting FTR versus the Rascals for the World Tag Team Championships, for the World Tag Team titles. That's happening on Collision. Also on Collision, you're going to get Claudio Castagnoli, who is the CMLL World Heavyweight Champion, going up against Konosuke Takeshita. And also, Swerve Strickland is going to have a match against Gravity. Oh, boy. Oh, joy. Right? Takeshita does have a title. What is it? The strong title? What title does he have? What belt does he currently? Is the DDT belt? A DDT title? Cause not the IWGP title. Not that I know of, but what title does Konosuke Takeshita hold right now? Please, someone smart me up here. Please, if you can, Chris Leclerc, smart me up here. But also, a couple of matches have been added to for Revolution, because of what happened. Jet Speed will now be joining forces with Mystico. It will be at Revolution. It will be Okada, Mark Davis, and Kyle Fletcher of the Don Callis family defending the Trios Championships against Jet Speed and Mystico. Again, they're going to be in Los Angeles. They're probably expecting the crowd to sing the Mystico song. That's probably what they're expecting. But yeah, here we go. Just there it is, right? There it is. You're also going to get the Young Bucks versus FTR for the tag titles. And also you're going to get 2 out of 3 falls match between Tekla and Chris Statlander, and also Brody King versus Swerve Strickland, which I do hope they put a stipulation to this match. It needs to be like a chain match or something. Okay, just one man's opinion. Let me know. That being said, guys, overall, I thought Dynamite as a whole, compared to the other 2 weeks, it was all right. Nothing to, again, compared to the other 2 weeks, the other 2 weeks were better. Okay. But in case you have not checked out the other content on the channel, make sure you guys go check out Steve's Kitchen, where I recapped the 2026 Elimination Chamber. Okay. Also, while you're at it, go check out the Raw Rundown, where I gave my thoughts on Monday Night Raw, the return of Roman Reigns and their promo from back and forth. We have a new Intercontinental Champion in Penta and Danhausen cursed Dominic Mysterio. So go give that a watch when you get a chance. Also, I dropped the first cooking video of 2026, where I basically cooked arroz chaufa, which is Peruvian-style fried rice, featuring chicken McNuggets. So go give that a watch when you get a chance. I'll be dropping the second video this Wednesday. Okay? So make sure you guys give that a watch when it does drop. All right? Oh, he's a television champion? Okay, fine. He's a television champion. Big whoop. All right, guys. Much love to all of you. Thank you for tuning in. Follow me on X at HeelSteven. Follow the Around the Point Network over on X at AT Network. All right, that's going to be it for me, guys. Much love to all of you. I'll see you guys this Monday for Steve's Kitchen. Much love to all of you. As always, for myself, for the gang, this has been Something About Dynamite here on the Around the Point Network. Peace.
Thank you. Fuck you. Bye.